Hello YouTubers, we've got here a first bike scooter 50cc 4T, and most probably most of you know this type of scooter like the GY6 model, because most of them have the same engine, transmission, air filter box, and basically it's kind of the same engine. And we're gonna be doing today a rear wheel bearing inspection and replacement, most probably, because the wheel it's doing like like some a movement like this. So to try this, you put your scooter on the central stand and grab the wheel like this from here and do a movement like this, that way and backwards. And if you feel like the wheel is wobbling, then it means that the wheel bearing it's probably broken. So also you can see that movement if someone, a friend of someone, is behind you and you're going on the street with the scooter, and you can see a movement like this of the real wheel while you're riding. So we're gonna be doing that, and also a transmission oil change from here, because we're gonna open this side and the oil will also come out from here, so we're gonna put some new oil there. And also it's time for an engine oil, because we have like 1600 kilometers. So first I want to take the whole air box out of here by unscrewing this one from here, this bolt from here, and then it has another one right there in the back in front. Yeah, that's it. And then we also have a hose here which is connected to this duct, this one. And then we obviously have the connection with the carburetor. So for that I'm gonna begin with doing these nuts, 1, 2, 3, and then 4, and then we can continue with the airbox, and then we'll go ahead with the other parts. Okay, there is actually another bolt here. In case it is removed, so now we have access to this flathead screw in order to open this duct from the airbox. Airbox screws are off as well. I forgot to mention all of them so far were 10 millimeters, so 10 millimeters all bolts and screws. Okay, so airbox is out. The hose that was plugged in here is out, and also this big duct from here, I've unscrewed that little Phillips head screwdriver right here and pull it off this one. Alright, now that we've got some more visual here, we can go ahead and open this cap by unbolting this 8mm bolts. There are many, so make sure you open them, and also probably this Phillips head for this duct, and then we can remove this cap for the transmission. Alright, so cap is off. First impressions, I think this thing, it's not supposed to do like this. The spring seems destroyed, and also the owner said that he has strange sounds coming from inside here, and that he believes that it's from the starter kit. And we'll look for this. As I can see, you just pull it from here and it comes out, and we'll figure out how this comes out from here, and then maybe replace them with some new ones. Okay, then we can go ahead and open this nut using a just a second. So I found out how to take this thing off here. As you can see, it has a small metal clip there. We're gonna be using this kind of tool to remove it, and then most probably this will go on the other side, releasing the starter. Okay, so as I expected, after releasing that metal clip from the Kickstarter. I've managed to pull it from the other side. So we're gonna be taking a new Kickstarter because this one has his this spring broken, if you ask me. Moving on with the clutch, this is a 14mm, and using this tool we're gonna open it. If you don't have this kind of tool, you're gonna then try to find a way for yourself to block this, because this thing it's moving. So I'm gonna simply hold it with my hand like that, and then put this gun on it, and that should do the work. And then yeah, we'll move on. Meanwhile, I've sprayed some WD-40 on these bolts to make the job easier to open them, because we're gonna open those bolts. Okay, so clutch it's removed. If you press hard like this in order to split these two metal plates, it will be easier, because the this will go down towards the central of the clutch, so it will be shorter. The drive belt will be shorter in order for you to take the clutch from this axle easier. This axle, as I can see, it doesn't have any movement, so I expect this bearing from back here to be okay. But then there's another axle that goes to the wheel, and now we're actually going to go on the other side, and we'll open the exhaust pipe first, and then we'll go on with the wheel, and then go ahead, see what's there, and move on. These two nuts for the exhaust, it keeps the exhaust on the engine. And then we'll go out here and open this one right here, and also the other one from down here, which I've sprayed with a lot of WD-40, both of them, so I make sure I don't screw any bolts or... Okay. I figure out we've got two other 10mm here. Oh wait, no, you can simply remove this hose from here, and then this whole thing will come out. This whole thing. I thought it's connected with the engine somehow. Okay, now we can proceed with these two. Alright, so exhaust is off. Now we can go ahead and open this nut using this tool. Then we're gonna take down the wheel and see what's happening from there. Okay, it was a 24mm nut. Now it's off. We can go ahead removing the wheel. Okay, wheel is off. Now we can go ahead and take down the brake pads. We'll see if those, but I think if we are here, we should change them with some new ones. If we opened all the way up, I will try to remove them by opening them and then removing them, or simply take one spring out using a tool like this. That would probably make the job easier. Okay, so I've opened the bolt. This is the 12mm bolt. That is the cap for the transmission oil. Now you can see that slowly it is going down. It's a little bit cold outside, most probably that's why the oil flows it's so hard. So, but yeah, I'll probably move on and open all the 10mm. The other ones are 10mm bolts, the rest of them, and we'll take down the cap and also release that rear brake cable. Now that you're sure that you're having all the bolts out, you can try to hammer stuff down here with the flat head screwdriver until the rear side gets completely off of this piece right here. But only when you're sure you have all the bolts unplugged. I had this little guy from down here still in, so I didn't know why it's not opening, but I didn't try too much. So if it's not going easy, just try to see if you didn't left any bolt unbolted. Now it should easily come off. Okay, so this is how it looks like in the interior. Completely felt off. This felt off from here, but never mind. Just remember how you got everything from there, and remember to put it back. So now from this side it's way more easier. What over broken? There's a seal as well. We cannot see now uh, the bearing, but I can feel it's completely broken. So this will need to be changed. The bearing from here. These two look really nice. These are good. This one from here as well. It's good. It's not broken. Looks really good. This one from here as well. This one from down here. Which you can see from the other side. Yeah. So yeah, this is going to be the parts. We're gonna be also changing the clutch, the brake pads from here, and also the bearing from here. We're gonna put back everything together and see how the owner reacts and if he's okay with everything we did. Okay, so I've took the axle out. There's the sealing, and behind it it's the wheel bearing, which I'm just gonna tap it, put it on the table, and then tap it with some, I don't know, maybe this one. Yeah, this seems to be good. Alright, sealing and wheel bearing, it's out. It's out of its place. I'm gonna clean really good everything before reassembling, and go get a new wheel bearing and sealing, and then put them back together. Okay. Okay, so new bearing and new sealing. These are the old ones. Here's new bearing and sealing. I've cleaned really well the area where the bearing will be fitted in back, and I'm gonna try using this tool to press back the bearing. I'm gonna put this side on the back side of this part here, and then with this one I'm gonna press the bearing, because this is almost the shape of the bearing. So yeah, but before doing that we should grease really well the bearing, as well as the place where it's gonna be fitted here. So make sure you grease the bearing as well, this area. Okay, so as I said, now after I tapped with the old bearing the new bearing at its place, I've installed this tool, and now I'm just pressing the wheel barrel back at its place, and until it hits the back of it, and don't push too hard at the end. It doesn't need to be super fitted. Yep, that's it. Now we can open this. Now we can lubricate the oil seal and put it back. For the clutch assembly replacement, using an impact gun and holding your feet like that, you open the nut holding the old clutch, release it, put the new clutch back and press it with your feet, and then put the nut back using the impact gun. So first the spring, then you put the clutch. The spring, it's not so hard, so you can press it with your hands, but make sure it fits, because it has a weird shape. So when you are sure that everything is clean and you're ready to put back stuff, first we're gonna put the brake cable. So I took down the nut, the adjusting nut for the brake, and I'm gonna come with. Okay, so the spring is between this and this thing right here, otherwise it's not gonna work. And now you come with the adjusting nut and the lock nut for the brake. And then when everything's done, make sure you don't forget to adjust your rear brake in order to have some brakes on the rear tire. Okay, so after everything is cleaned and greased, and you put back the axle and this right here, and also the brake, you can fit this back in at its place. Okay, now we can tie back all the bolts. My advice for you is to make some pictures after you took them out, because there are 3 different dimensions as when it comes to the length of them. So make sure you make some pictures so you remember exactly what's the order of them. Okay, now I put back the brake pads. I've released one of the springs from here just to make myself an easier job to put it back, and then with this tool I've put the spring back in its place. So now everything is okay. We can go on with the wheel on this side. Okay, the wheel is back, washer is back. Now we're gonna tie back this 24mm nut. Okay, make sure it's alright, perfect, nothing wobbly. Now we can move on with the exhaust and then go to the other side. Okay, 2 bolts from the exhaust are tightened back. Make sure it's fitted on the engine, on the 2 sprots that are coming out from the engine where you have the 10mm nuts. Also, this hose is back installed now. The only thing that I have to do is to tighten back the 2 nuts that are holding the exhaust pipe on the engine. 2 10mm nuts, and that's about it. Coming back to this side, in order to fill up the transmission oil, I'm gonna use this mobile ATW90 and also syringe, I think. And I put two of these, which means 120 milliliters, and it already started to pour on the filler hole, so that's more than enough. I put the bottle back in order to take back the oil that it's in plus. So after that, we're gonna close the filler hole with this bolt. It has an aluminium washer. Make sure it's in a good shape, it's not harmed. If it's harmed, change this washer. It's not the case for us. And yeah, then we can move on with the clutch assembly and the transmission cap and so on. Okay, so new clutch, it's back in place. You have to compress this in order to put the belt inside of the clutch, otherwise it won't fit back at its place. So you have to compress it like this with both hands and somehow put the belt at the middle as possible of the clutch, and then put the clutch back. Now we can put this cover and also the nut, and it's a 14mm, and we're gonna tie it with this. We've put back a new spring with the new Kickstarter. You just need to the one side of the spring needs to be here, and the other side will be down here. If you can see it behind the starter, yeah, down there. And then come with this piece back here, and then we can put back the cap. Okay, so first I've reconnected the duct from in front of here, and now we can fit back the cap and start putting the bolts back. 8mm bolts. Okay, so cap is back, all bolts are in place and tightened. Now we can continue with the air box. Put this hose back here. Okay, then connect at the carburetor, then this one back here. Now we'll go at the carburetor up here. Okay, here you make sure it fits back on the carburetor. Okay, flathead screwdriver for this duct here on the carburetor. Make sure it's well fitted back. Then we can go on with the two 10mm bolts holding the air filter box. So Phillips head screwdriver for this duct, and then 2mm on the bottom of the air box. Okay, so moving on with the oil change. For this I've opened this filler cap for the oil, and then we're gonna open this 17mm from down here and release the oil engine. So engine oil, we're gonna put 500 milliliters and check on this stick to be, we need an oil level at here in the middle of this part. That's the ideal oil level. Reach that, put back this, and that's about the oil change.